Good morning, or happy Friday, may not be morning. Make sure as we're going through this presentation that you take notes and make sure that you answer the questions embedded in the Ed puzzle. This and the Alex assignment will be your homework. So today we're going to do, I understand the difference between independent and dependent events. I can find the probability of independent events. Honestly, Monday we're going to do the dependent events, but today let's make sure you understand independent. Events are independent events if the occurrence of one does not affect the probability of the other. So the formula for a probability of independent events is if A and B are independent, then the probability of A and B equals the probability of A times the probability of B. So example one, find each probability using the spinner. Write your answer as a fraction in simplest form. So as always, read the Alex instructions. If it says fraction in simplest form, do that. If it says decimal, do that. So you're spinning the spinner, and you want to spin a 4 and then a 4 again on the spinner. So and is the magic word that you know you're going to multiply. So I want the probability of a 4 times the probability of a 4. If you look over on the spinner, there are 1, 2, 3 4s out of 8. And since they're independent, if you spin a 4 the first time, that doesn't affect whether you spin a spinner again. So there are still 3 out of 8 chances that you get a 4. If you multiply those, you get 9 over 64, because we all know when you multiply fractions, you multiply straight across. However, if you're not good at multiplying fractions, feel free to use Desmos. And 9 out of 64 is reduced. This one says the probability of spinning a red, and then a green, and then a 2. So there's that magic word again. I know on your paper that you can't tell the difference between the red and the green and the blue, but obviously on the video you can. So there are 2 out of 8 red. There are 3 out of 8 green. And there is 1 slice of the wheel that has a 2. Now you're welcome to reduce before. I typically just multiply straight across and then reduce. Totally up to you. 6 out of 5, 12. If you divide top and bottom by 2, you get 3 out of 256. Probability of a color other than red 2 times on the spinner. So make sure you read carefully, other than red. Remember the other day we talked about complements. Other than red is R prime. That's the complement, and we're doing it 2 times. So if you look on your wheel, if 2 out of 8 are red, that means 6 out of 8 are not. Multiply straight across, 36 out of 64, which reduces if you divide top and bottom by 4, reduces to 9 over 16. Make sure you reduce. Feel free again to go to Desmos. Let that do that for you. So take a second, do the try it. That will be your first question on the Ed puzzle. So for you try it, you have the probability of blue, and which is multiplied, the probability of a 4. There are 3 out of 8 blues. That does not affect my second spin. And there are 3 out of 8 4s, which is 9 over 64. Just like above, that does not reduce. Here are cards again. Again, you're not going to have to memorize this. I'm either going to give you this, or in Alex, it usually shows it to you. It says, what is the probability of first drawing a diamond then a club, and then a 4. So I have 3 things to multiply. Probability of a diamond, probability of a club, and the probability of a 4. There are 13 out of 52 diamonds. There are 13 out of 52 clubs. And there are 4 out of 52 fours. And again, up here at the cards, there are the clubs, there are the diamonds, there are the fours. Definitely had to get out my Desmos on this one. 676 over 140,000, 608. This one, again, please read, says round to 4 decimal places. So when I put that in Desmos, I get 0.0048. Okay, same thing, but now we have word problems, so we're going to have to read carefully, pull out all the information that we need. Because a cooler contains 12 drinks, including 5 Cokes, 3 Sprites, 4 Diet Cokes. So here's my total, and then my breakdown: 5 Cokes, 3 Sprites, 4 Diet Cokes. If you select one drink at random, the concession worker replaces the drink with the same type. So you buy one, they put another one in there so that they don't run out of stock. Then your friend chooses a drink at random. Find the probability that they are both Sprites. Do not round intermediate computations, round it to 4 decimal places at the end. So make sure you know that the reason these are independent is because of that magic word replaces. So when we talk about dependent on Monday, you'll see where we're not going to replace things. So I want the probability that they're both Sprites. So the probability that the first one is a Sprite times the probability that the second one is a Sprite. There are 3 out of 12 Sprites times 3 out of 12 Sprites, because I put it back, which is 9 out of 144. And I did not round this to 4 decimal places, so let me do that very quickly. Give me just a second to grab my calculator. 9 divided by 144 is 0.0625. Okay, you have a try it, so let's pause a second. I'm going to let you do that. Same situation, 12 drinks. So yours is the probability of selecting a Coke and then a Diet Coke. 5 Cokes, 4 Diets, total 12. And here's the situation. So it's 5 out of 12 Cokes, 4 out of 12 Diet Cokes, which is 20 over 144, which is 0.1389. And then lastly, of the people who fished at Patoka Lake today, 24 had a fishing license and 6 did not. Of the people who fished at Rough River today, 10 had a fishing license and 10 did not. No one fished at both lakes, so we're not trying to trick you here. Suppose that one fisher from each lake is chosen at random. What is it probably that the fisher from Patoka had a license and the fisher from Rough River did not have a license? So let's make sure we get out the information out. So Patoka Lake, 24 license, 6 no license. Rough River, 10 license, 10 not licensed. So we had a total of 30 that went to Patoka and 20 that went to Rough River. And we want to know the probability that the people from Patoka had a license and the probability that the person from Rough River had no license. So Patoka license was 24 out of 30. The people from Rough River with no license are 10 out of 20, which is 240 over 600, which reduces to, or doesn't really reduce, when I divide, it's equivalent to 0.4. So 40% of the people were at Patoka with a license and at Rough River without a license. Make sure that you completed all the questions and